Many of you are actively searching for small, compact electric cars that offer a long range, and you might feel a bit hesitant when it comes to the process of charging them up. That probably stems from the era of range anxiety, because perhaps one doesn't want to spend too much time finding a charger or charging stations. And there we already presented the Peugeot E-3008 to you in detail in a smaller segment years ago. Finally, Peugeot has launched the next major step for 2024 with the new Peugeot E-3008, featuring advanced technology and innovative design. Here you get two battery sizes, one with 73 kilowatt hours net for all those who want to drive medium distances, and then even optionally, and that with a 2.73 meter wheelbase. 98 kilowatt hours net. And that's of course a new statement for a car of this size, around 4.54 meters, where we're still on the border of the compact segment. Where I say this is going to get exciting in e-mobility. We recently showed you the Renault Scenic with 87 kilowatt hours, and now Stellantis is upping the ante with its vehicles by adding another 11 kilowatt hours net. Today's video is all about the classic review with the first test drive, and in a few days, the second video will cover the consumption drive and the charging check with the E-3008. Let's evaluate its comfort. What's its consumption on long trips, and how quickly can it be recharged? How is the travel comfort? How do the assistance systems, navigation, etc. work? I'd say, before we get started, please check if you're part of the Intro Electric community. If not, please support us with a subscription. Then you won't miss the second video on the consumption skin in the charging check. Let's start with the Peugeot E-3008. As always, we'll begin outside, starting from the front. Check out the new front of the E-3008. Peugeot has evolved significantly, showcasing impressive innovation in their latest model. I really like this enclosed grille. It's also available as a mild hybrid, and there will later be a plug-in hybrid version as well. And here we have various electric variants with different drive systems. With front-wheel drive, with all-wheel drive, with a small battery, with a large battery, but more on that later. I have to say, I really like this quite a lot, and these three ropes here, that's what I'll call them for now, they look extremely dangerous. They've kind of taken away the shark look a bit. It has very nice LED headlights with daytime running lights as standard and optional, and I think that's really great. Also matrix LED headlights, Stefan.
Excellent.
That means for frequent drivers who need really good travel lighting, especially where parts of the traffic are masked out, they will be best served and well taken care of here. Yes, there are two variants. The Allure starts with a 73 kilowatt hour 218 horsepower battery. Then starting at around 48,000 euros here in Germany. For 5,000 euros more, you can get the GT variant, which we're testing with you, starting at around 53,000 euros. I suppose that the larger battery, which will be available in the fall, will supposedly cost around 3,000 to 5,000 euros more. Feel free to write in the comments if you think it's realistic. My tip, I'm curious to see how Peugeot will price it. In the GT variant, we also have very beautiful wheel designs, in my opinion, sometimes in 20 inches, aerodynamically optimized, pleasantly different from what the competition is doing on 235/50 R20 with good Michelin tires. We have it here in a two-tone color scheme with a slightly metallic white that subtly glistens, adding a sophisticated touch. Looks beautiful when the sun comes out. Today it's not so sunny, and we have that black glossy, a bit of gray black roof. Below everything is shiny black, and I find that really cool with Peugeot, because we always criticize the wheel arches in that kind of plastic, and Peugeot paints them, right? Fancy. That can't cost much more, right?
Actually not, right?
And what does this remind me of, Stefan? The Peugeot symbol here with the lion, very confident on the fender.
Help me out quickly.
Ferrari? Oh yeah, optional for a few thousand euros, and even hand-painted, I think, for around 12K at Ferrari dealerships. You get that at Peugeot, basically integrated into the purchase price. Privacy glazing is included, and of course we also have a charging port here, where we have the possibility to conveniently charge with 11 kW 3-phase. Peugeot hasn't told me yet whether we might later have another optional feature with the big battery. We might eventually get a 22 kilowatt charger, but that's not confirmed yet. And we have a DC fast charging option where we can peak at up to 160 kilowatt, which means we could charge from 20 to 80% in about 30 minutes or so. We'll also explore this further in our second video during the upcoming consumption drive and the charging test. Yes, we have a really nice coupe style line that gracefully slopes down here. I always really like that elegant feature. is very popular with you, such a cross-utility vehicle, an SUV with a coupe-like line, blending style and function. We have a very efficient rear spoiler that's nice and flat, not too bulky, which extends a bit. Almost like it's coming from the integrated roof rail, because underneath that are the hinges. And what we also have, but something you don't really notice in the black, is a roof in black. TYP is what?
A shark closing in?
Oh, the Peugeot. You can easily integrate all that into the car's body, side mirrors, and various exterior features seamlessly. Yeah, where we used to philosophize at the fries or burger counter, there's now this sloping edge that's become a design highlight. It's also quite a nice little design feature. I really like it a lot, and you could probably very easily enjoy a burger here during the charging break. Yes, LED taillights. Stefan, can you step back a bit so we can show the rear in full view again for our viewers to appreciate its complete design? I think he's definitely a genuine bean.
Looks pretty chic, also the two-tone and stuff, it's great.
Take a look at the quality. We've painted everything here in a beautiful glossy black finish. There is no cheap hard plastic used here. Instead, everything is beautifully painted. Here again is a plastic strip. And that might actually be really interesting later on when we examine the cargo area, because if we were to accidentally bump into it right here, we won't have to go through the hassle of repainting the entire bumper. But that we might be able to swap this element or also offer it, so Peugeot probably thinks a bit more practically. More about the technically practical. So I have to say from the outside, it's a real wow. I'm curious how you will rate it in the comments. Let's get to the technical data. 4 meters 54 is its length. It appears much bigger, especially in white. 1 meter 89 is its width, with exterior mirrors rounded up 2.11 meters. It'll be tight on the left lane in the construction zone. At 164 meters, it's surprisingly tall for a vehicle of its size. I am 1.85 meters tall, which I think gives me a pretty imposing stature. The wheelbase measures 2.73 meters, where the two battery packs with 73 or 98 kilowatt hours net capacity find their place. The Peugeot E-3008 is currently, with 73 kilowatts and a front motor driving the front axle, you get 157 kilowatt, 213 HP system power. Yes, an all-wheel drive version for the 73 kilowatt battery will also be available soon as an option. Then it even has 230 kilowatt, 320 HP, and it will be available with the big battery pack in the fall, where it will have 98 kilowatt on net and initially only front-wheel drive. It's equipped with 170 kilowatt and 230 horsepower. Anyway, let's take a look under the hood. What I'm missing here, sorry. Peugeot, simple hood struts would be nice, because this stick, I have to say, I had it in my 93 Golf, and it's a bit inconvenient, isn't it? Very well insulated here is the hood, because we also have the front motor. We have the variant with 73 kilowatt hours, 157 kilowatt of 213 horsepower. What I find very unfortunate, because we still have some space here, we could have integrated a nice tray here to have a small frunk where you can put 2 charging cables, an emergency kit for the chocolate socket, and the Type 2 charging cable could have been easily stored. And that's interesting because when you're in winter, in the rain, dragging the charging cable through mud and snow and rain, you might not want to put it in the trunk with your luggage or in a hopefully nicely lined double floor, right?
Not really, no.
And of course, a frunk is always an optimal help. Let's take a moment to hear how French aluminum steel sounds. I think you'll find it quite interesting.
3, 2, 1.
Full. Perhaps more important for you than just the frunk is the trunk. So let's take a look at what it offers in space and functionality. We're still at 4.54 meters. Just for comparison, an ID.4, ID.5 are, I believe, 4.68 meters. The Skoda Enyaq is about 4.70 meters long as well. But here with the Peugeot, we have 520 liters of storage capacity. That's really impressive.
For the length, that's really good.
And what I think Peugeot is doing right, which we kind of criticized with the Renault Scenic, is here a double loading floor. This means you can take it out and end up with a completely deep level where you can pack a lot of stuff and still have room left. Either you can lay it flat, like before, or place it on top here, giving you another compartment underneath for extra storage space during your trips and making packing easier. There's also a latch on the side, which allows you to secure it in place and not get the lid slammed down on your arm when you hold it up. So, isn't this all kind of Thought out, or what do you think?
Functionally speaking, that's good.
Then very, very nice here. Everything lined with carpet. We also have tie-down hooks here, maybe to secure a shopping bag. We have a 12-volt socket, and we actually have quite a decent parcel shelf here, also nicely covered with carpet, which you can quite easily take out here without trouble, because for some of you, perhaps 520 liters are simply just not enough to fit everything you might need. For those to whom this applies, you have the option, which I think is great, to fold down 20% in the middle here to transport a long item from the hardware store or skis in winter.
Very good.
So this is really well done. And then you have 40% on each side that you can fold down to increase the 520 liters of trunk space. Unfortunately, they don't provide specific details on this, which is a bit disappointing for those looking for precise information. Not knowing exactly, what would you guess, 1,500 liters, 1,400 liters to make, Stefan? Yes?
Around that, yeah.
That might actually even work out perfectly well in the end.
Closes electrically since it opens electrically.
Sounds logical. And I mean, even with soft close, what do you think? I look nice and smooth and now gently pulled shut. This is truly premium French craftsmanship. Yes, just like in the 520 liters or then with the rear bench folded down, we don't know the exact specification. 14, 15, 16 liters are not enough. Maybe they should have the option to add a rooftop load here with the semi-integrated. Setup. I couldn't find any information about a roof load. Please share your knowledge. Write it in the comments if you know what it should be and where in any case. There is an optional trailer hitch available with a braked towing capacity of up to 1.25 tons. That's actually okay. And with that, he fits right in with all the other vehicles of this size. I haven't figured out the nose weight either, because I know many of you like to use a rear bike carrier, maybe with e-bikes, and need the nose weight for that. We'll need to contact the team to find that information or follow up on it later. Outside, we've shown you everything. Let's take a look inside. We have single glazing here, so not two panes with a film in between, but that doesn't have to be a disadvantage. If the car is otherwise well soundproofed. Well, let's start chronologically with the door panel. And I have to say that Peugeot has done a pretty decent job here. This part is lightly foam padded, which I like. Then we have a surface that seems to include some ambient lighting, which I also like a lot. We do have hard plastic here, but at least it's coated with a fabric-like texture that reminds me a bit of kitchen countertops. That's the material that comes to mind. I think it looks stylish and it's scratch resistant too. Looks kind of nice, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just an easy solution to avoid having plastic.
Exactly. Here we have hard plastic, which is not foamed. Then we have here window regulators, mirror adjustment, a handle, a regular handle, padded here again. Here again, we have some faux leather. A nice two-tone stitch, which I like a lot too. Down here, there's definitely hard plastic, but at least it's in such a high-quality look and feel. So this is undoubtedly not that cheap delivery vehicle. Plastic. And notice, Stefan, it's nicely carpeted here, but not this entire interior part. That means it rustles and clatters here, and the floor and back wall are covered with carpet or some felt. I wonder why they don't simply choose to disguise the plastic.
Probably cost about 12 cents more.
So a small piece of felt ensures once again that it rustles and clatters, right? That's it. Welcome to the beautiful and exquisitely designed interior of the very modern and innovative Peugeot E-3008. And I have to say, this is either exactly on point with the taste. I think it's kind of cool, or you just don't like it at all.
So, from back here, it looks like you've really built this cockpit around you with that vibration in there, which kind of suits you.
Exactly. So on the one hand, we have this arc that's oriented towards the driver. So we basically have this indentation to get a bit more space for the passenger. I think it's quite stylishly done. We have a 24-inch display that hangs here in a floating curved manner. I simply find it a design highlight.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because most people just put two displays there, connect them together, and that's it. Well, you also have to appreciate when someone like Peugeot, I think, makes an effort. Even if you might not like it, Peugeot is really making an effort. What I don't find here, and I'm not sure if it's optional, is a head-up display. You can argue about whether it's necessary in this vehicle class or not. Here we also have that hard plastic with this coating on it, which is also nicely rough. I like it as well. Again, there's a small decorative strip here. And then we basically have a touch display here, where we also have Apple CarPlay. An Android Auto wireless. That means we also have the possibility here to control such a map a bit more enhancing the overall driving experience quite significantly. It's actually pretty smooth. You can clearly see here how you can move it back and forth easily. I have to say, Peugeot has genuinely made some really significant strides in the infotainment area. We have another quick access menu here, where we always have the home button, the screen option, and a quick selection for media, making navigation through functions very easy. For climate control, which can also be very conveniently operated here on this touch level, for navigation, for phone calls, and also for Apple CarPlay, once again beautifully integrated into almost the entire screen, making all functions very accessible and user-friendly. Not much to debate. Here's the gear selector and start-stop with a few other functions. And then what we usually do chronologically, here's a nice multifunction steering wheel. Flat on top and bottom, nice and thick, a bit perforated for those who enjoy sweatier hands, providing a comfortable grip even during long drives or in hot conditions. Classic turn signal lever, windshield wiper, and here we have kind of a mix of tactile buttons for volume control. And then just like this here, to control certain things, like the phone or everything related to assistance systems on the left. Yeah, the main button is also made of a nice soft plastic, not some cheap hard plastic. With GT, we have the GT number here, which I find pretty stylish. There might be a drawback that, depending on your height, since you can adjust the steering wheel in both height and distance, it could potentially block your view of the driver information area, which can be quite inconvenient, right?
Yes, that essentially ends up obscuring the clear view of relevant data.
But it's solved much better. Check out the E-3008 and E-3008 videos. We also had this 3D display where the steering wheel was always kind of in the way.
No.
Well, here we have this plastic with the grain pattern again. I really think it looks kind of valuable, even though it's just plastic. Yeah.
It definitely looks good.
Here we have the rear window heating once again. Ventilation off and so on. The drive mode selector is used to seamlessly switch between the various driving modes: Sport, Normal, and Eco. The hazard warning button is accessible and raised, crucial when approaching the end of a traffic jam. And right here we have a nice rotary knob, which is exactly how I like it, to control the volume and the electronic parking brake effortlessly and conveniently. Yes, this is closed here, which might be a bit annoying for some people depending on their seating distance because it sticks out a bit here. I would have also wished for it to be maybe just 2 or 3 centimeters further inside, because then you'd have just a little bit more space for your right leg. Here we have a level where we actually have 2 well-placed USB-C ports for easy device connections. Once to charge it and once to, mirror and integrate it into the vehicle. Stefan, look, you can put that in there too. And then we have a nice big compartment here, which you can close, also well made. Here's another storage compartment. By the way, I forgot to mention the inductive charging pad up here. That means the passenger could place their phone right here if needed. There's also a convenient bracket here so it doesn't slide around. But why can't we have 2 inductive charging spots? One for the driver and one for the passenger, Stefan.
No space left for you at this moment.
But it's also nicely done that you have a privacy screen here, then you basically have 2 cup holders here. Here, I might have wished for a small roller blind, but this isn't a wishful thinking show. And then we have sort of 2 more flaps to open, where we have another large deep compartment to put a few things in, plus a little section for small change. It's also a bit rubberized, so it doesn't rustle and clatter. I think it's well done and the division is practical, so the passenger can also access it when the driver has ergonomically rested their elbow here. Sadly, our test subject has no options due to the long extras list. Estimate about 7K more or less on the base price for a fully loaded version. If there had been a large panoramic glass sunroof to open, that would have been quite nice and enjoyable today, with the warm 24 degrees here at the scenic lookout point, don't you think?
Yes.
And I have to say, I might include that as well. Nice black headliner, it suits the GT. So actually, I have to say, if you like this kind of look, you're getting a pretty nice and stylish interior that truly stands out.
Space for your Top Gun sunglasses, right? At the top, a compartment.
Through the passenger door, you get a unique view of the interior's details, showcasing craftsmanship and design. Yes, we have a relatively rigid center console here. There must be a lot of space underneath, or maybe even a battery pack installed. We have a nice doormat, also with a neatly stitched gray seam around it. We have the glove compartment here, nicely made from hard plastic, but at least fully lined with felt on the inside. I really appreciate that. And we have the AGR, the what's it called? The Working Group for Health.
Back. Exactly.
Top seat from the Stellantis group is also found in Opel. Therefore, this AGR feature isn't exclusive to Peugeot and can be seen in other brands within the group as well. GT means sporty, here again with the optional leather package. This means you can adjust the seat length here once more. That's just for the faction of long debates. So then, one more time, I think super chill. We have solid support here in the thigh area. We have nice support here. Then again, in the lumbar region, light shoulder pads, the semi-integrated headrest, which you can of course adjust in height, but unfortunately not in comfort in terms of distance. Very nicely engraved here, the Peugeot logo, so in terms of design, Peugeot is allowed to stand out a bit more. Here we have a nice warm texture that feels comfortable, and in this top variant we have both seat heating and ventilation, adding greatly to your overall driving comfort. I mean, you could also get the AGR massaged, couldn't you? Now, I'm still not sure if this seat includes that feature. I don't believe he has it. At least I couldn't find it at the moment. Please feel free to write in the comments what you might know about it. The driver's seat is electric, and the passengers?
Yes, everything is electric here, exceptionally.
And also in terms of height? Also in height? Oh, look, very nice. Yes, you have to pay attention to everything. I've got something like that again, Steph.
Let me guess. We have no trim on the B pillar again.
No third child.
Yes, that's already an exclusion criterion for Munchingen.
Right, then the third child's seat is missing. That could rattle on cobblestones if there's no passenger and it's not buckled up. Before someone comments again, when my wife is sitting there and is buckled up, then it can't rattle. Yeah, great comment. The point is, if someone isn't buckled up, it rattles here. And that's exactly my criticism, that it's again coming from up here. Look over here. From there on, then all the way down to the very bottom and back up the entire instrument panel, there's this really, really hard, almost van-like plastic that you always so lovingly and affectionately refer to as what again exactly?
Plastic.
Many of you will say, who cares about the finest plastic in the doors when I might be sitting in the back and need space for my 185 meters and 9 kilos? For me, comfort and legroom are what truly matter, especially on longer trips. Let's take a closer look and see how we do getting started here.
Well, that fits.
Yeah, sure, but somehow I'm sitting here a bit oddly. I still don't know exactly what it is. Somehow the seat is too flat, and it could certainly be a bit steeper for more comfort. Then of course it's a bit short here too. And I have to say, what we praised in the back, namely the large storage space, I feel like we're missing a bit of space in the rear here. That could naturally be due to my build. If you're delicate little fawns, that's something else entirely. And you probably won't have the issues. Yes, let's go chronologically. We have a center armrest which is nicely padded here. This is absolutely awesome. It's just so much fun to use. 2 cup holders and somehow a tablet holder. But why is it not possible to somehow integrate the headrest all the way back here?
Others can do it.
Because I'm here at the edge with my elbow at the cup holder, it feels uncomfortable and I have to be careful. If you could please take a look at the Renault Scenic in the video, check out, in my opinion, the almost perfect center armrest in this specific vehicle class.
Yes.
And we're talking about the same price range here. Yeah, with the leather package, of course, we've got something top-notch. Leather, yes. Again, with that warm and cozy texture similar to the front. However, we decided to save a bit on the thigh indentation as well as on the lumbar support to keep things simpler. So it's already starting to get blurry here when you're being very performant with the 157 kilos of power. Why are you laughing now? Yes.
Okay.
Driving around with 213 HP is quite powerful. We'll try it out later and see how it feels. Yes, here again, very, very nice fabric combined, I assume, with some kind of faux leather. Then we also have this nice and soft kind of like faux leather, and then here a little mesh. Maybe another small pocket for a smartphone is needed here. In any case, we've got heated seats in the back. We have 2 USB-C ports and a 12-volt socket here, and we've got some air vents for better airflow. What we don't have now is the 3-zone climate control. Whether you need it or not, that's for you to decide. I just find it quite convenient when you might want a different temperature in the back seats than you would prefer in the front seats of the vehicle. Yeah, when the seat is all the way back and all the way down, the air gets really thin in here. Finally, we have the classic option with 2 reliable child ISOFIX mounts for safety. Once again, we have a really pointless and frustrating zipper. Everything feels so tight when trying to get in. And if the seat is back and down like mine, even an ISOFIX seat won't fit. I'm pretty sure about that. I'll say, I don't even dare to say it again, Stefan. Oh, what is it? Look at this impressive armada. Yeah, okay, I see it.
Yes, good.
Outside, we've shown you everything, and inside we have too. But what we haven't yet shown you is the certified what by Stefan, my wonderful cameraman who ensures everything looks perfect.
Charging flap, I think it's honestly the biggest one I've seen so far in my life.
This is truly the largest charging flap we've ever seen for such a small CCS socket here. Please write in the comments if you know of a car that's bigger or even comparable. Personally, I would have wished for something more streamlined.
That it opens upwards.
Yeah, you know
the genesis is because if the cable runs here, it will bump into this.
When you have to go around here, it'll inevitably bump against that, so it's actually always kind of in the way for everyone. I'd say let's not waste any more time and jump straight to the exciting test drive. I want to really kick things off with you with the amazing Peugeot E-3008. We embarked on this journey for you with the Peugeot E-3008. Here in the GT version, bronze-powered, 157 kilowatts and 218 HP along with the battery size. 73 kilowatt hours usable net. Right now, it's currently showing me a range of 525 kilometers. Yes, that will probably be somewhat illusory because I believe that with the car, you will generally use between 20 and 25 kilowatt hours. Overland. Maybe in the city with strictly urban traffic, you might bring it down to well below 20 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. First off, the feeling is quite nice. When it's given a flattened shape at the top and bottom, it always takes a little bit of getting used to. We definitely have a physical switch here. That's already better than with our American supercar manufacturer.
Yeah, but the cockpit itself, it looks really fancy, especially with the ambient lighting.
What I like is that despite being an SUV, I have a decent all-around view here. That means I sit a bit elevated, like on a stool at a dining table. And then I've got these nice big windows here that I can look through, and otherwise probably a camera system later when parking, right?
Let's hope so.
And what Peugeot has always been known for is its excellent suspension comfort, which ensures a very smooth and enjoyable ride. And that's also what we quickly notice right here within the first few meters. That it absorbs any bumps very smoothly and rolls extremely sensibly here, as well, providing an excellent ride quality. We simply don't get any hard jolts from bumps in the road, and we don't actually experience any significant swaying or rolling motions here either, which is definitely quite impressive and noteworthy. Despite the seemingly more comfortable suspension, providing a smoother and more enjoyable ride experience. Also included with this excellent equipment package is the advanced drive assist. Drive assist means adaptive cruise control, steering assist, and lane keeping assist in one package, ensuring safer, smoother driving with advanced technology. Where I find that it quite properly keeps to the center of the lane. I think that wasn't always the case with Peugeot. In my eyes, Peugeot has also made extreme advancements, especially in terms of assistance systems. We're also testing this out on the country road in a curve here. It's doing all right. Yeah.
He does. He doesn't swim all the way out.
We've had other experiences where it felt like we were thrown into oncoming traffic almost without any control at all.
No.
So therefore, I think it's a good system. We're also testing it here again at this detour of the turning lane. He also does that here, I think, very, very well, corrects nicely here. Maybe it doesn't do it quite as perfectly as we might know from those exceptional German premium manufacturers who really stick to the exact middle of the lane, does it?
Yes.
Now we're excited. A 70 zone is coming up and we want to see if it's adaptive or not. Can't wait to find out. The car ahead of us is already past the sign. 70 is suitable for such a test. Always somewhat suboptimal, but he basically asks whether 100 is okay or 70. So the traffic sign recognition works, but then somehow it sticks at 100. Actually, you have to... so you need to press OK to apply it. But there's no 50 here, right? I don't know where he got that from again. Oh, I don't know either. The traffic sign recognition, I think that's a never-ending story, right? Track. Another point where Stellantis and Peugeot seem to have made progress is we all know this drive mode selector from practically all Opel and Peugeot models. Citroën, I don't know where. Derivatives always here with the B switch for the brake mode. That's no longer available. Instead, the E-3008 now has paddle shifters, where you can adjust the recuperation intensity in 3 different levels using. Although I've personally noticed that in the highest recuperation stage, it simply just doesn't ever quite seem to fully be able to live up to the B rating or value benchmark. So, Maybe there's another specific setting in the menu now. I always find it slightly sad.
Yeah. I only know it in B mode, and it already has power.
Important for you, especially in urban areas, are the options to conveniently park your car, as finding a spot can be challenging. And I was positively surprised. We actually have a 10.9 meter turning radius here, Stefan. So aiming for under 11 meters is always our wish to navigate easily in an urban environment. We have, in my opinion, a pretty high resolution rear view camera here, complete with guidelines. We have ultrasound, sensors that of course also tend to beep and boop a bit. And we also have a 360-degree camera system on board, which allows us to see all around. Yeah, can we switch to that view here for a comprehensive look at our surroundings? Yes, we can. It's actually really cool to just see exactly where our rims are located. For some people, it's really important so that they don't end up scratching their rims. And when we then drive out of the gap, we also have a front camera. That's also really practical, especially if they ideally also have a wide range of view, like here 180 degrees. But look, now you can see exactly, are there pedestrians, are there cyclists? It's always about when you drive out of a tight spot or a building wall in Berlin. That is awesome, making urban navigation simpler and more intuitive. And 1090 meters is cool?
That's definitely quite alright.
We want to measure the interior noise with you at 50 km/h. 56, 57 decibels, that's a very, very good value. It's on the level of the Mercedes S-Class. We're going 70, 59, 60 decibels, that's also a good value. The ID.3 is at 70 decibels. Accelerating to 100. (64, 65, 66 decibels. So that shows that despite the single glazing, they've done an excellent job with insulation. You can also feel it in the car, because when we have passers-by here going 100 km/h, they don't just crash through the metal door. So we can also notice with normal hearing, pay attention to this when you're driving a well-insulated car, that you hardly perceive passing vehicles. We want to test a launch with you guys. Stefan, do a countdown. 3,
2, 1, lows.
and he sluggishly takes off in sport 30, 50, 70. 90, 100, yes, he's already struggling with his good 2 tons of weight, but the brakes grip firmly. Of course, we have our draggy with us, which also measures the accelerations. Yeah, 0 to 111 in 5.6 seconds, 8.8 is the factory specification. Unfortunately, it's slightly uphill here, not a flat stretch, so I think otherwise he might have reached around 9 seconds. Given ideal conditions, we believe he could do even better. The incline played a significant role in the results, making the potential of the vehicle appear a bit underwhelming. Thus, testing again on level ground might validate our expectations. Honestly, going from 0 to 50 in 4.4 seconds and from 0 to 60 in 5.32 seconds is really quite impressive considering the difficult conditions. Yes, and 0 to 60 in 6.23 seconds. So if you want performance, you're probably better off with the all-wheel drive, right?
It can be assumed this has more kick, resulting in better performance.
Yeah, but in the end, who buys a car like this? It's the person who wants to cruise comfortably, wants to be comfortably on the road in an SUV, has a nice driving comfort, so performance probably won't be the main focus for them, right?
I don't think so with the car. No, I don't.
But 8.8 seconds is truly a little bit too little of a time, don't you think? Absolutely.
Sometimes that's enough for a traffic light start.
But 7 seconds would be really nice.
There's always room for a bit of improvement, right?
This particular front-wheel drive variant comes equipped with 343 Newton meters of torque and impressively boasts a top speed of 100. 70 km/h, I think both of these options are perfectly fine, right?
Well, for the class, I really think so.
Yes, Stefan. Let's talk a bit about driving comfort while we're out here in the countryside. What's your seat of the pants feeling?
So the seats are very comfortable. You get good lateral support. I'm also sitting very comfortably, partly because of the suspension, which is nice and smooth, as you said. So you don't notice it, it doesn't hit you in the back or anything. It's really comfortable.
We've already established several times that these seats from the Healthy Back Association are meant to contribute to your back health. That's not without reason a good quality mark, which certainly also always comes with a small additional cost. Be truly that honest.
Likely true, yes.
I think that for its size and price segment, the car is excellent and offers impressive features. Sure, it might be smoother than what we're used to, but at least we're not bouncing around everywhere, dealing with jolts. So this is not a sports car where we become curve robbers and race up the Grossglockner, but rather it's more of a glider where you say, man, especially with the 98 kilowatt hour battery, I'd like to take a really nice long trip and have good reload speed so I can fully enjoy the journey. Yes.
We'll figure that out today.
Exactly, so consumption and efficiency are essential topics that we will then determine in the second video. That will follow in a few days, where we'll do the consumption drive at 100, 120, 140 and 160 km/h and the charging check from 10 to 80% with the 73 kilowatts battery, just to see how suitable it is for long distance travel and how is the handling on the highway.
Yes, let's see if he holds the track just as well and so on.
I showed you the door panel. Now check out this beautiful Peugeot blue and see how incredibly awesome it looks. And that's kind of a bit of bling bling and bling bling, which is the least we can expect when we're talking about a good 48,000 euros, or as in our subject's case, over mid 50,000 euros. For an electric car, he wants to offer something special, right?
Yes, he's doing it here as well. It looks really chic.
For a long trip is a good sound system, right? Yeah.
We definitely have a nice sound here.
We didn't actually find any well-known manufacturers among our test subjects. Maybe that's still optional, but it really creates a nice spatial sound, right? So, also clear highs now here with the piano. So that's already fun. If we could just add a little bass, then it could turn into a really fantastic, well-rounded thing, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Yes, it's nice and smooth and definitely not too driving at all, right?
Definitely pack that.
What I really like about the Peugeot is the infotainment system. You have to get used to it and figure it out a bit, but then, Stefan, look, there's a nice navigation map here on the bike display. When you start the navigation now, it can smoothly switch over and show the energy flow a bit more clearly. You can see the radio and fuel consumption. We'll soon show you the consumption driving through New Brandenburg, about 7 kilometers. And it also has a nice overview with a big speedometer right here. So I must say this is indeed a nice feature. Here you can also see when it's charging or when you're consuming energy, when it goes beyond eco in terms of energy consumption. So there are a few gimmicks. And what I find particularly sexy is this little tricolor under Peugeot. Yes, I really like that sense of connection to one's homeland, right? I don't think a German manufacturer would ever do that. Somehow the car now appears to be black-red, doesn't it? Yes. We left New Brandenburg and drove through the town for roughly 7 kilometers, bypassing with 80 km/h, and achieved a consumption of approximately 15.9 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. 7 kilometers isn't very telling. I just wanted to provide a quick reference for urban driving, giving you a rough idea of your position in such areas. And if we divide that by 73 kilowatt hours, then we already get in a city nearly reaching about 500 kilometer range.
450.
Even with the small battery. If we had the 98 kilowatt battery, we would be over 600 kilometers. And I would say there's really no argument anymore, even if you can't charge at home, that you have to find a charging station every day or because theoretically speaking, you could manage a commute of 30 kilometers for 20 days on just one single charge. Therefore, it's also quite interesting for people who can't easily charge at home, which might be a common concern these days. What's your take on that?
I think so too. He can definitely handle short or maybe even medium distances. Could this happen if you drive carefully here?
Let's get to the conclusion. Actually, we should call it an interim conclusion because in a few days, there will also be the consumption drive with the charging check coming as a video. I think we can actually say we are positively surprised, yes.
Well, the development at Peugeot is definitely going in the right direction.
On the outside, it has a nice, pleasant and somewhat unique design. I think it stands out a bit from the typical cars you see on the road. Peugeot has done a fantastic job with the design, merging elegance and performance, successfully bringing their French sporty flair to Germany, making it a remarkable addition to our automotive landscape. I must say, I like the interior much better than what came from the E-208 or E-3008, no, especially here with this 24-inch curved floating. Show that again, Stefan. I have to say the display looks chic, also with the ambient lighting. I find this plastic with the grain to be very visually high quality and quite stylish indeed. That doesn't bother me at all. I actually prefer it over some piano lacquer or grey painted surface. So it's really a great thing. However, you can't expect a high performance car with extraordinary capabilities. which has extremely fast acceleration. It's a cruiser, it's essentially a glider. And hopefully we will also get some interesting fuel consumption data in the second video. And if he can reload quickly, then I think, given this compact size, it will be interesting to many people.
Definitely not a bad choice.
And we'd really like to promote that again. Please don't only look at gross list prices. I know those are indicators, but there's more to it. Many of you might also be thinking about buying an electric car. But what's interesting right now is that electric cars aren't exactly flying off the shelves either. To be honest, they're already sitting like lead, especially used ones.
Oh yes.
So check out the latest leasing offers because there are always incredible deals offering great value you won't want to miss. Just like I might snag a Kia EV6 for €249 a month, which is a deal that's quite hard to pass up. Now, a lot of credit scores have been checked. I don't want to spoil it, but there might be a video coming from a regular Kia dealer. For example, Peugeot offers a leasing deal starting at €399 at market launch, which helps offset the purchase price and makes the vehicle more appealing to potential customers looking for cost-effective options.
Yes, definitely.
And I could easily imagine that Peugeot might come back in between and drop a few more exciting bombshells, right?
That could well be possible.
So feel free to check out your local Peugeot dealer. We really enjoy going to Autohaus Böttcher in Neubrandenburg. Thank you very much. Also, thanks for letting us use this car with red license plates. Visit Böttcher. They have many branches, including in Berlin and elsewhere. Or just visit your trusted Peugeot dealer of choice. Schedule a test drive and see if, particularly with the large battery arriving this fall, it isn't a fantastic combination of urban and efficient compact car with exceptional long-distance suitability. And with that, we have arrived at the end of the first part. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Please check if you are part of the Einfach Elektrisch community. If not, we'd appreciate your support with a subscription. This way, you won't miss the second part with the consumption drive and charging check. Thank you very much for watching. Stay healthy and see you all soon. Yours, Ollie. Hey, Stefan. That's kind of Ferrari-like here with the emblem, isn't it? Like what Peugeot is doing there.
You know, here it's included, but at Ferrari you really end up paying through the nose for it and it's not cheap.